Hello and welcome to the Sunday School classroom. So we're going to be doing a Bible talk, and this is the Bible. The Bible is the Word of God, and if these are God's words, we need to read them so we can know what He's telling us and teaching us and how He wants us to live. So today we're going to be reading in 2 Kings chapter 4, and it tells about a man named Elisha. Elisha was a prophet. A prophet is someone that God told messages to, and he was supposed to deliver those messages to all the people. Well, there was a widow in the story, and she had lost her husband. He had died, and she had sons, and she didn't have any money. In fact, she owed money. So she saw Elisha and she called out to him and she said, Elisha, I need your help. And here's what Elisha said: What shall I do for you? Tell me what you have in your house. So the widow said, I just have this jar of oil and it's almost empty. And I owe people a lot of money. And if I don't pay them, they're going to take my sons and they're going to make them work for them as slaves to pay back my debt. Please help me. See, she knew that Elijah was a prophet of God, and she, I believe, knew that God can do anything and that he cares for her. Well, Elijah said, Here's what you do. I want you to collect all the empty jars that you can find in your house and then go around to your neighbors and collect empty jars from them. And I want you to start filling up those jars. So that's what the widow did. She took an empty jar and she said, There's not but just a tiny bit of oil left in here, but I'll do what Elisha said. So she filled one empty jar with oil. Wow, there was enough to fill one jar, but surely that was all. Surely there's no more. I only had a little bit in the beginning. But she started filling, and to her surprise, she filled another empty jar with oil. Surely that was all of it. There was hardly any at the beginning, and now she's filled up two empty jars. But she kept filling, and the oil kept coming and coming and coming until there were no empty jars left anywhere. She'd filled them all up with oil. That is amazing. She took the oil and she sold it and she paid off all her debts. Her sons didn't have to go and work and be slaves to pay off the debt. God cared for the widow lady, and through Elijah, he caused a great miracle to happen. The oil did not run out until there were no more jars left to fill it with. So that is an amazing reminder from the Bible that God takes care of our needs and he cares for us. Let's sing a little song to help us remember. All right, the song goes like this. God will always care for me, care for me, care for me. God will always care for me. He will meet my needs. Can we sing that together? God will always care for me, care for me, care for me. God will always care for me. He will meet my needs. You can remember the story about the oil that seemed to not go away until there were no more jars left. That's the story of how God cares for us and takes care of our needs. For a craft today, you can color the jar and you'll see the printable included with the jar. And you can color on it, decorate it, make it beautiful. And then you can glue some tissue paper sticking up out of the jar to look like the oil that she was pouring from it. Thank you for joining me for Sunday school today, and I'll see you next Sunday.